my thoughts on Colin Kaepernick's refusal to stand for the national anthem. Hillary Clinton has a few more classified emails that have been discovered, and Donald Trump visits Mexico. All up next on The Wise Conservative Show. Broadcasting live from California. Get ready for an hour of pure, unapologetic conservative talk radio. This is The Wise Conservative Show. Welcome to The Wise Conservative Show. I am your host, Connor Wise. If you haven't noticed, I'm sure you have, this has been all over everything. Colin Kaepernick, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, refused to stand for our national anthem. He claimed that it was because black people are oppressed and he doesn't want to stand until they're not oppressed. I'm sure you've heard many people give their opinions on this, since it did happen on Friday last week. But I haven't had the chance to give my opinions on it to you guys. So I'm going to take this segment to actually give my opinion on that. Because this is something that really stoked me the wrong way. Of course, Colin Kaepernick, he's a multi-million dollar, he's worth multi-million dollars. His paycheck annually is more than probably anyone listening to this could ever hope for. And just because he started to not be as good as he used to be, he's had a slump lately. And so he decided to actually go and not stand for this, because that's what I think this is. I think this is a stunt to get into publicity more. Because honestly, I don't think he cares about the less fortunate. He was raised in a family that had money. He grew up with just about anything he could think of. And now he's complaining about it. He has everything he could ever wish for now. So this isn't about oppression. No, this is about him getting back into the spotlight, because he has had a horrible preseason so far. And so this is all he wants to do. He just wants to refuse to stand for our national anthem, which, you know what? It's his right. It's his freedom of expression. He can do that. And I've seen a lot of people attack conservatives, attack everyone who's mad about this, because it's not just conservatives. But I've seen a lot of people attack those of us who are mad about this, saying that it's his First Amendment right. Why are we mad at all? Well, it's obvious that this is just disrespectful. This is disrespectful to all of those who have died for our rights. This is disrespectful to anyone who's been in our military, period. It's disrespectful to those who have actually... I've seen many pictures of people who have actually lost their legs in the military from an IED or something. And they still force themselves up out of a wheelchair. They hold themselves up to stand for our national anthem. And that's because it means a lot. Our national anthem is just like the flag. You know what? You have the right to burn it. You have the right to not stand for the national anthem. Both of these are your right. But I am obviously going to attack you or yell at you, whatever it is, when you actually do that, because it is offensive, it is rude, it is just disrespectful. There's no other word. It is disrespectful to the thousands of men and women who have died for that. For the message behind it, the message of freedom, the message of liberty. It is disrespectful, and I sincerely hope that Kaepernick is fired from this. He's not re-signed when his contract is over or whatever. Because this is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. And the fact that there's people actually defending him for this, there's people who are saying that he's standing up for a good cause because of this, that he's giving a good message. You know what? Take any person in the United States, even those who are the worst off in the United States, and I guarantee that they are better off than the majority of people in countries in Africa or in the Middle East. Anyone who lives in America, even the poorest of poor here, are better off than any of those other people in other countries or continents. Because we have so many programs to help out those who are poor. And you know what? Are there some communities that are dangerous because of gangs? Yes. That is always going to happen. And it's not the Republicans or the people who actually love the values of this country that have led to that. No. It is democratic, liberal policies that have led to that. This isn't oppression of blacks that has led to these communities to go downhill. It's not forcing African Americans into poverty. Because there's many stories of people working out of poverty, working out of this life, into becoming a businessman, a business mogul. It's all about your own actions, your own motivation, your own faith. And even the fact that Kaepernick has the audacity to say that our national anthem, that he won't stand for it because blacks are being oppressed in this nation. Give me a break. There has not been oppression of any race in this country since the Civil Rights Movement. And that is a fact. Is there still some people who are racist? Yes. That is always going to happen. You cannot legislate racism out of people. You cannot legislate morality. But by law, there is no race that is being oppressed. There's no slavery. There's no law that is saying that if you're a certain race, you can't ride in this seat or you can't drink from this fountain. It's just Kaepernick wanting to get back into the spotlight. It's just Kaepernick trying to put himself into the news once again. And he's not the only one now who's coming out against the national anthem. Singer John Legend, he called the national anthem, quote, weak. He's standing with Kaepernick to not stand. He's saying that he doesn't truly love the song. He tweeted out that for those defending the current anthem, do you really truly love that song? I don't, and I'm very good at singing it, like one of the best. Wow. He continued to, in a second tweet, he said, "My vote is for America the Beautiful. Star-Spangled Banner is a weak song anyway." Now, I don't know what he's referencing when he's saying it's a weak song. It's one of the best national anthems I've ever heard. If you listen to, the Canadian national anthem, that song's not nearly as good as ours. But the Star-Spangled Banner has message behind it, and that's the best part about it. It's the message that we did fight for all these freedoms. That in the Revolutionary War, our people fought, and in all of these wars, our people fought. The national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, is one of the best pieces of literature, because it was a poem. It's one of the best pieces of literature ever written. And I don't understand how John Legend can come out, and I believe he's also rich. I mean, he's a singer, he's a famous singer, he's rich too. It's funny how all of these rich people who claim to be oppressed, they always come out and say that they're oppressed. And these are the people that get whatever they want. These are the people that can go out and literally buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari with just their daily spending money. These are the people that are as far from being oppressed as you can possibly get. John Legend then linked an article on The Intercept, which I've never heard of The Intercept. I'm sure it's some liberal, biased news source. It's obviously not an unbiased source. The article that he linked was called "Colin Kaepernick, is Righter Than You Know. The national anthem is a celebration of slavery." Now let's take a moment to actually look at this, to actually think about what he just tweeted out. The national anthem is a celebration of slavery. I love it. I love how many different racist remarks they can tag to any piece of American history. People have said that the American flag is racist. People have said that basically any flag that conservatives like is racist. And now our national anthem is racist. The article referenced an unsung verse from the poem, calling it an atrocity, claiming that it literally celebrates the murder of African Americans. Wow. You know, I don't understand it. I mean, I love this country. Yes, we have our faults. But I love this country. Our national anthem, I will always stand for it. I will always salute to it. Hand over the heart for it. Because it is everything that our country stands for. It is freedom and liberty. And I've said this before about our flag and about our anthem. The national anthem is one of the pieces of American culture that relates to everyone. It wasn't written about how slavery used to exist. It wasn't written about how African Americans used to be oppressed with different laws, the Jim Crow laws and all that. No. It was written about hard work, dedication, freedom, those who are brave. And again, these people, John Legend, Colin Kaepernick, they're both extremely rich. They're both extremely privileged. I'm going to go all liberal here. They should really check their privilege. But honestly, they should not be the ones who even start a movement about this, because they have nothing to complain about. They're better off than 99% of America. And yet they complain that America doesn't treat them right because their skin color is different. Kaepernick on Sunday said that his sit-down was for, quote, people that are being oppressed, and that he'll end the protest when he feels like the flag represents what it's supposed to represent. So we also connected this to the American flag now, saying that the American flag doesn't represent what it's supposed to. Well, maybe that's because people like you are trying to give it some different meaning. Maybe that's because people like you are trying to say that it's racist, that it promotes slavery, that it promotes legislative racism, systematic racism. That's the whole reason why some people think that it doesn't represent what it does, because of people like Kaepernick. And even Kaepernick's birth mother, he was adopted, by the way, but his birth mother, she wants no part of this. She shamed him on Twitter, saying, "There's ways to make change without disrespecting and bringing shame to the very country and family who afforded you so many blessings." She gave birth at 19 and was forced to put him up for adoption, and it worked out for Kaepernick because he went to a very good family. She continued to say, "The path less traveled doesn't need to be one of destruction." And I completely agree with this. This is the 2 points that basically everyone has been making. I mean, seriously, he was disrespectful. He brought shame to our country and to the 49ers, to his family. He brought shame to all of them. And I feel like he's trying to walk it back a little. I mean, because he hasn't been on social media at all because of the whole uproar about this. If you aren't actually looking at like CNN or MSNBC, who are celebrating Kaepernick for doing this, but if you actually look at the people's opinion on this, most people think that he was just a spoiled brat about it. That he needs a safe space because the national anthem is too mean. I just had to really give my thoughts on that, because I can't even believe that anyone would ever try to do that. I can't believe that anyone would ever, on national television, do that. So that's my opinion on this whole Kaepernick situation. I'm sure you've heard a bajillion different opinions same opinions, basically. of what I just said, but I really just had to get that off my chest. And after the break, Hillary Clinton gave a speech about foreign policy to the American Legion. I'll have the scoop on that. Don't go anywhere. This is the Wise Conservative Show.
And that, class, is why America is the worst country in the history of the world.
Are you sick of your professors telling you lies?
Now remember, children, if you're white, it means you're privileged. Don't ever forget that.
Do you sit through class convinced that your head is going to explode at any given moment? Sounds like you could use some backup. Visit youthrevolt.org for exclusive content produced by young conservatives for young conservatives. Youth Revolt features a dedicated team of radio hosts, political columnists, and video bloggers, all of whom are 100% committed to taking back the future of this country. So what are you waiting for? Tune out your Marxist professor and visit youthrevolt.org now.
8 years with Obama, and now no one knows what bathroom to use.
The Wise Conservative Show, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, only on Youth Revolt.
Tune in to Millennials Rising, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday nights, for a conservative outlook on pop culture and American politics. Together we can reinstitute values back into our nation's young people and help create an alternative path away from the mainstream liberal agenda. Tune in to Millennials Rising, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights, only on Youth Revolt. The idea behind Youth Revolt is to let them, these liberal professors, let them know that we are here and we're ready to fight.
Youth Revolt. Speak without fear.
Hey, little boy, you want some free college?
Bernie Sanders, that creepy uncle your mom warned you about. The Wise Conservative Show. Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Only on Youth Revolt.
Welcome back to the Wise Conservative Show. I am your host, Connor Wise. And you know what? Welcome to day 270 of days without a Clinton news briefing. Yes, it has reached 270. Well, that'll open up my segment on Hillary Clinton. You always have to have that in the Wise Conservative Show. Just today, actually, Hillary Clinton pitched her foreign policy to the American Legion, which of course is a bunch of Republicans, basically, who are concerned about foreign policy. She's been trying lately to actually reach out towards independents and Republicans. I mean, it hasn't really been working very well. But yeah, so she went on in this speech to promote national exceptionalism, saying that we have an exceptional nation. She accused Donald Trump of thinking that his approach is insulting to the rest of the world. Now, this is the same attack that she's done for the whole entire general campaign, saying that he's insulting to everyone. Clinton went on to say that the country has a unique and unparalleled ability to be a force for peace and progress. She questioned Trump's support for the military, strange coming from her, and hit him for his last-minute trip to Mexico, which I will cover a little bit later. She said that where was I going? She said that this is, of course, American is exceptional. I said that previously. She said this multiple times. It was the focus of her speech. She said that she was the best suited for foreign policy as a presidential candidate because of her experience during as senator on the committees and also as Secretary of State. Honestly, that was a mistake, I think. Bringing up Secretary of State for foreign policy. Yes, that's what Secretary of State does. It's all foreign policy. But these are Republicans in a room. These are conservatives who know about Benghazi and are enraged by Benghazi. So Hillary Clinton touting her Secretary of State record, that is one of the biggest mistakes she has made in this campaign. That's one of the biggest lies she could ever say, saying that she had a good record as Secretary of State. And especially to people who are GOP supporters, people who are Republicans. How? I'm just wondering, how could she ever say that she was good on foreign policy during Secretary of State? And during her time as a senator, she always tries to act like she's anti-interventionist and that she's anti-war. She voted for every single bill or act that would have military intervention. And every time it failed. Every one that she voted for failed. She voted for the ousting of Gaddafi. I mean, that was her as Secretary of State. That was her little master plan to oust Gaddafi. And what do we have in Libya now? It's the birthplace of so much terrorism now because of the unstable region. Just another example of Hillary Clinton's bad foreign policy. Throughout her entire career, and she's had a long career dealing with foreign policy. She's had a long foreign policy career. I'll give her that. But throughout this entire career, she has had a bad record. Just like with everything else, she has had a bad record throughout her entire career. So the fact that she can even say that she's better in regards to foreign policy than Donald Trump, well, Donald Trump, he's given his foreign policy speech. And it was much better than anything Hillary Clinton has come up with. Of course, there were mistakes in it, yes. Donald Trump isn't the perfect politician. We all know that. But he is our option against Hillary Clinton. And actually, I just got a notification. He's delivering his immigration speech in Arizona. If anything important pops up, I will let you guys know as it happens. I wish I had a way to actually stream that for you guys so you could listen, but I don't. So I'm going to continue with my little rant against Hillary Clinton, because you guys don't get enough of that, I'm sure. Hillary Clinton actually emphasized all of her GOP support because a bunch of establishment GOP members are switching their support to Hillary Clinton. They just, on Wednesday, so today, they rolled out another Republican endorsement from James Cladd, who was a former deputy assistant of the Secretary of Defense under George W. Bush. So again, this is James Cladd. He's someone who's within the Anxieties establishment, just like everyone who's, quote, Republican and supports Hillary Clinton. Because if you truly are conservative, you're not going to support Hillary Clinton whatsoever. That's just a fact. Even if you're in the Never Trump group, which there are still some people in it, even if you're in that group, you're not going to vote Hillary Clinton. You're going third party. You're not voting at all. Which is because Hillary Clinton, which honestly, you never know where she's going to lie on the political scale. You just know it's going to be left of center. At times she's been pretty centrist. But then she shifts her views for the current week to be extremely progressive. Shifts them to be more like Bernie Sanders for a day or two. Then comes back more towards the middle. Then goes back out a little bit. She shifts her views constantly. So anyone who's actually conservative wouldn't support her whatsoever. This is just proof that the establishment is the same on both sides. That the establishment politicians from the Democrats and the Republicans, they're the same. They're just corrupt and they just want power. That's all it is. All these establishment people who refuse to endorse Trump, they know that if Trump is elected, they won't have power anymore. That the establishment won't have as much power. So they're going to support the establishment candidate. Kladd actually said something about Trump. He said, quote, "Giving an incoherent amateur the keys to the White House this November will doom us to second or third class status." Wow. It's hard to believe anyone would think that Hillary Clinton is the better option for saving this country, looking at her record. And honestly, like I said before, how many times she's flip-flopped on everything. You never know what her answer to something's going to be. You never know what her stance is going to be. I was talking to someone the other day who's a diehard progressive, one of my friends. And I asked him how he can support Hillary Clinton with her switching her stance so often between progressive and centrist and all of that. And this is the answer that he gave me. He said that it is progressive, that, the definition of progressive is to change. And then he asked me, isn't it progressive to change your stance? I was speechless because it was so stupid. I couldn't understand how anyone can think that changing your stance and your viewpoints so often, because Donald Trump, he changed his views from 20, 30 years ago till now. But Hillary Clinton constantly changes it. It's not progressive to change your stance. No. It's changing to whatever the people that week want. It's changing to what the certain demographic that she's giving a speech to wants. It's not progressive, which, honestly, progressive is bad too, but it's not progressive as these people are trying to convince themselves. Because that's what I think it is. These people are trying to convince themselves that Hillary Clinton is good enough. That she's a good enough option. Because my friend who I spoke to, along with many other people, they were Bernie supporters before the convention, and they confirmed Hillary as the nominee. And they're convincing themselves that Hillary Clinton being their nominee isn't that bad. That it's better than a Trump presidency because insert wrong logic here or wrong facts here. Because they don't have any actual evidence to support their claims that Donald Trump is racist or dangerous. Just like James Kladd, which I was looking at his quote here just now that I read off to you guys. He doesn't have any evidence to support that Donald Trump is a dangerous person, that he'll do horrible in foreign policy. He's just going on what gives him the most power. But in more Clinton news, seems like every week we have more email news to come out about Hillary Clinton. This one's actually a lot different than we've seen before. Hillary Clinton sent classified material over her email, the unsecured server, over that server, after she left the State Department. This was a May 2013 email file that she sent from her private account to the State Department, or to many State Department officials and aides, discussing the 1-2-3 deal with the United Arab Emirates. Much of this message is actually redacted due to classified information. The markings list the material as confidential, and they say that it can only be declassified in 2033. So we don't really know much about what this email actually is. We just know that it's classified. But they do know that the 1-2-3 deal referred to a 2009 agreement with UAE, the United Arab Emirates, to share material and technology for nuclear energy. This was first reported by the Post, and they said that the email came from Clinton's private email, hrod17 at clintonmail.com, and it was sent to Deputy Secretary of State William Burns, the State Department Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills, and the top Clinton aide Huma Abedin, and others. It was sent several months after she was actually out of the State Department. More carelessness. I didn't think I'd actually see any more carelessness pop up about this because, just last week, 15,000 more emails were found that she deleted. The carelessness never stops with her. Over 2,100 of the emails from the time when she was in the State Department are now actually classified. 2,100 of them. Now, that's including all of them that were even classified after the fact that she sent them, but it's also including the several hundred of them that were classified at the moment that she sent them. She had many emails. She had her aides just take the top secret heading off of it, or what it is, delete that off the top so that people didn't know right off the bat that it was confidential. And this is a fact. This is something that Comey confirmed. So, honestly, Hillary Clinton is running for the President of the United States. Hillary Clinton has been proven to use multiple unsecured servers, just so she didn't have to carry multiple devices. She is confirmed to have sent several hundred classified emails on that unsecured server, and it ends up that over 2,100 of the messages turned up to be classified when all of this is done. She then turned over 15,000 emails, around 30,000 were actually deleted off of the server, and she even emailed classified information after she was out of Secretary of State on her unsecured email servers. And she's running for President of the United States. I've said this before, and I'm going to continue to say it. If a Republican did at least one of those things, just one of those things happened, one classified email was accidentally sent, and this has happened. One of these things happens, and the conservative is shamed, stripped of rank, stripped of status, sent to prison. All of this happens if a Republican or conservative does any of this. But the left doesn't care about that. Because just like the establishment, the left cares about power. Because the left has shifted to be super authoritarian in our country. The general left in our country is authoritarian now. So what they want is control. They want control over the entire nation. And they know that Hillary Clinton doesn't care about the rules. All she cares about is control. And you know what that is? That's perfect for their viewpoint. It is perfect for them because that's exactly what they want. They don't care about whether something is against the law or anything like that, unless it's something that they say. If it's a law that they make, then they care. Or if it's a conservative that's breaking the law, then they care. But if it's one of their own, they won't care because they are the most corrupt group of individuals, and this isn't every liberal. But a lot of liberals don't care for some reason. I don't understand it. They don't care about our national security. They don't care about laws. They don't care about holding people accountable. There's millions of people that are going to vote for the woman, for president. For president of the United States. And she was too lazy to carry multiple devices when she was Secretary of State. They're going to vote her into the most powerful office, arguably, within our government. That way she can appoint super liberal or progressive, whatever the new term is this week, so that she can appoint them to the Supreme Court, so that she can issue executive orders like President Obama did to basically write laws to legislate everyone into thinking the same way as her, so that she can legislate so many taxes and checks on purchasing firearms or anything related to firearms, so that no one even is able to obtain them. She has said that if she could, she would ban handguns. She has said that. It's a quote from her. She has broken the law, and people want to hire her as the president. I'll never understand their mindset. I'll never understand them wanting this to happen. But Donald Trump said mean things. He said that illegal immigrants are criminals. How could he? Because that's worse than breaking the law, apparently. Because apparently, that's worse than wanting to strip people of their rights. And then you get the liberals, they go and they say that, you are crazy conservatives, no one's trying to get your guns. Well, what about all of the legislation that they put into place, which puts a tax on every single round that you purchase, or you can't have more than 10 rounds in a clip or a magazine, or that you have to do all of these different regulations, you have to go through all of these different regulations to obtain a firearm. And then they still say that it's not enough. They still say that these regulations aren't enough. That you can walk into a store, give them $2 and walk out with an AR-15. And the people writing these laws, this legislation, they don't know anything about firearms. And that's exactly, all of these laws are going to increase if Hillary Clinton becomes president. We aren't going to be able to have our Second Amendment right. Well, we technically will be able to, because she's not going to find some way to get the Second Amendment to be removed, to repeal it. But she will legislate people out of having it, because that's what they've realized. They can issue a tax in the name of something good and charity or something, helping poor people. Issue the tax on every single round or anything they want, making it so expensive that no one can even afford firearms. And that's what they started doing in like Seattle and Washington, Seattle, Washington. There's a bunch of new firearm laws that are going into place here in California. All of these different laws are just more ways to keep us from actually purchasing firearms. And Hillary Clinton is behind all of it. I mean, if she could, she would just repeal the Second Amendment, but she can't. So she will do what the liberals have continued to do for the past decade or so, which is legislate us out of them. And the fact that anyone is willing to vote for her, even for that sole fact, this isn't even taking into account the emails which I started this whole thing off with. No, just the sole fact that she wants to take away our rights. And people still want to vote for her, even after that. But then you take into account her horrible record as Secretary of State, whether it be her foreign policy with Benghazi or Libya, whether it be her unsecured email server with hundreds of classified emails being sent on it, or her pandering day to day. If you add into all of those, there is no reason why anyone should want to vote for the woman. Not one. There's no reason why anyone with any sort of logic would want to vote for her. Anyone who thinks about anything in our country, anyone who actually does research, who actually looks at the news, who actually thinks about what is going to happen when these people are elected into office. Anyone who is actually educated should not want to vote for this woman. But the sad thing is, they do. What does that say about our education system, about our country? What does it say about our country that there are people who are willing to give up their rights? so that people aren't offended, or willing to give up their rights so that one child doesn't die, even though guns are used more in self-defense. What does it say about our country that people are willing to do that? Think about that. After the break, I have all the details on Trump's visit to Mexico, which happened today. Don't go anywhere. This is the Wise Conservative Show.
Hi, everybody. This week, I want to make sure that you're aware of a group of young people that are out to reverse my fundamental transformation of America. This organization is called Youth Revolt. And before I go any further, I must urge folks not to visit youthrevolt.org. Now, Michelle and I, we're both gravely concerned that if this group succeeds, our children may not grow up to see the Marxist country that we will hopefully one day become. So I repeat, do not visit youthrevolt.org. And remember, I've got a pen and I've got a phone, and I will use them if I have to. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
I don't feel no ways tired. You know? Don't let anybody tell you that, it's corporations and businesses that create jobs.
Hillary Clinton, just another political clown. The Wise Conservative Show, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, only on Youth Revolt.
And that, class, is why America is the worst country in the history of the world.
Are you sick of your professors telling you lies?
Now remember, children, if you're white, it means you're privileged. Don't ever forget that.
Do you sit through class convinced that your head is going to explode at any given moment? Sounds like you could use some backup. Visit youthrevolt.org for exclusive content produced by young conservatives for young conservatives. Youth Revolt features a dedicated team of radio hosts, political columnists, and video bloggers, all of whom are 100% committed to taking back the future of this country. So what are you waiting for? Tune out your Marxist professor and visit youthrevolt.org now.
Hey, little boy, you want some free college?
Bernie Sanders, that creepy uncle your mom warned you about. The Wise Conservative Show, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, only on Youth Revolt.
Welcome back to the Wise Conservative Show, folks. My name is Connor Wise. I am your host here today. As I promised before the break, all the details on Trump's visit to Mexico. So actually just yesterday, Trump confirmed this over a tweet. He confirmed that he was meeting with the Mexican president. I'm not even going to try to attempt to say his name for fear of embarrassing myself on that matter. But so Trump met with the Mexican president to talk to him about trade and illegal immigration. He called anew for changes for NAFTA, and he asserted the right to build a border wall. This was all today, just hours before the speech that he's actually currently giving. Still haven't heard anything about that. If I do, I will tell you guys. We all know that Trump has made illegal immigration a centerpiece of his entire campaign from the very beginning. That's how he became the nominee, honestly. He kept talking about how we're going to build a wall and we're going to make Mexico pay for it. That was his whole big idea that launched him into the political scene this year. He he called the issue a humanitarian disaster. I actually have the clip of him saying this. Take a listen.
We had a very substantive, direct, and constructive exchange of ideas over quite a period of time. This is a humanitarian disaster. The dangerous treks, the abuse by gangs and cartels, and the extreme physical dangers. And it must be solved. It must be solved quickly. Not fair to the people anywhere worldwide, you can truly say, but certainly not fair to the people of Mexico or the people of the United States.
So, Trump in his speech, honestly, to me, he kind of sounded bored when he was giving this press briefing after his talk with the Mexican president. But he was, he didn't have he had a little bit of a script in front of him. You could see in the video that he was reading off of a paper. I don't think he didn't have a teleprompter, but he did have a paper of what he wanted to talk about, which is actually another step for him. He was able to give a calm and collected speech, even though he did sound a little bored. He was able to give that off of just a piece of paper, which I don't think he's ever done before. The only way he's been able to give calm and collected speeches in the past is from a teleprompter. But this was a very presidential-like speech. I couldn't get the entire speech for you because that would be way too long. But it was very presidential. He spoke with the president. They talked about everything to do with relations between the two countries. Nieto, that's the president's name. That's his last name, the only one I'm going to pronounce here, because I'm probably pronouncing that one wrong too. Through a translator, he said that the neighboring countries face common challenges, no matter who the next president is, and he urged a relationship based on mutual respect. He told Trump, "We might disagree on several issues, but your presence here shows that we do have fundamentally common ground." The president, he invited both Trump and Hillary Clinton to talk to him last week. I believe on Friday he invited both of them. And Hillary Clinton declined the invitation, saying that she was going to wait for the, quote, right time to actually go talk to him. So, in other words, she's probably just going to wait to see how Donald Trump's visit with him went, and if it went good, she'll go and visit too. But then she's criticizing, in her speech that I talked about earlier, the speech to the American Legion, she criticized Donald Trump for going to Mexico to talk to the president, saying that it was basically too little too late to repair his relations with Mexicans. It didn't sound like it was too little or too late by what the Mexican president actually commented on it. The only thing that really contradicted anything that Trump said was the president tweeted out that he wasn't going to pay for the wall, that Mexico wasn't going to pay for the wall. And you know what? That's fair. Everyone knew that the Mexico paying for the wall was just another line so that Trump could gain more news media coverage. Everyone knew that we were going to end up paying for it if it actually came to be a thing. So everyone's fine with that. But that's not the point here. The liberal media, they are trying to make it all about that point. They're trying to say, the Mexican president said that they're not going to pay for the wall. Trump's visit was a disaster. That's not the case, folks. His visit there was actually very good. His visit there actually proved that he has the capabilities to discuss rationally with foreign leaders. Now, this is something that Hillary Clinton has tried to tout out throughout her entire campaign, that Donald Trump is too crazy to actually talk to foreign leaders, that he'll never be able to negotiate with them. Folks, this is proof that Donald Trump can actually talk to foreign leaders with cool, collected head, and this is someone who has criticized him in the past. This is someone who has said that Trump shouldn't be president in the past. And he was still able to talk to him in a cool, level-mannered way to discuss all of the different things that are facing both of our countries. Donald Trump said that we had to find a way to solve this, as he put it, humanitarian crisis that is affecting both of our nations. Because yes, there are gang wars, cartel wars going on down in Mexico. People are fleeing north into America. And it's affecting both of our countries because of that. Trump said that it doesn't matter who builds the wall, but both countries have the wall, or have the right to build the wall on the border. And a lot of liberals, this is from throughout the entire campaign, they've said that Mexico wouldn't ever build a wall on the border, that Mexico is against border walls because they're evil and racist, because border walls are evil and racist. But, I mean, Mexico has a border wall on its southern border, and just from this conversation or dialogue, whatever you want to say, just from this, we can tell that he's not against a wall. He's against, he's just against completely, I don't know. I don't even know what he's against. He's just against paying for the wall, basically. We already knew that we were going to have to build the wall. We already knew that we were going to have to pay for it. But the fact is, we have to build this wall. We have to stop this crisis. We have to limit the illegal immigration. And the Mexican president agreed that it was an issue. He agreed that we had to work out some sort of solution to this problem. I guarantee Hillary Clinton and her campaign aren't going to touch on that point. I guarantee that they're not going to say, oh, Trump's visit was actually good. You know, because they don't tell the truth to anyone. They're saying that it was a political stunt to go there. I think Trump actually wanted to talk to him about this. I mean, obviously, his advisors told him that it was a good idea. And it was a good idea. It wasn't too little too late, as Clinton would put it. It's the perfect amount at the right time. Because Donald Trump has gotten a lot of heat for his immigration policy, saying that he was going to loosen up on it within the past couple weeks. I myself talked a lot about it last week in our show, saying that it wasn't a good option. I then said that he should give a full-fledged speech on it, which he is doing right now. So Donald Trump is actually going down the right path right now, I think. I mean, I've said this before, and I'm sure in a couple weeks I'll be like, why didn't Donald Trump just follow this? He should just do this instead to fix all of this. And it just keeps going in these cycles. But right now, he's going down the right path. Right now, he's actually looking presidential. He's actually looking like someone who could lead a country. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is still dodging the email server and all of that, all of the different scandals currently facing her as she prepares for the debates up ahead. Both Trump and Clinton have the debates that are coming up on September 26th. The first debate is on that date. They're both preparing for it, according to their campaign staffers. According to Hillary Clinton's campaign, she is actually she's looking at every single debate that Trump has been in to see what angered him the most, so that she can do that. And she's reading up on a bunch of different debate strategies and all of that to beat Donald Trump in these debates. Because we all know that Hillary Clinton isn't very good in the debates. We already knew that. Which is really weird, because she actually has been in over 40 debates throughout her recent career. Over 40, whether it be for Senate or for President. She's been in a lot of debates. And yet she's still really bad at them. That's why she has to schedule the debates like in the Democratic primaries. That's why they scheduled them for days that no one wanted to watch them. It's probably the same reason why there's a lot of debates. A couple of the debates conflict with Monday Night Football. Because they don't want Hillary Clinton to be seen in the debates losing. So Clinton's aides are actually a little worried because they don't know if she'll know how to react when Donald Trump brings up the email server and all of those different scandals. This is all from people within her campaign. And according to Trump's campaign, he's really not doing much to prepare. Of course, his staffers are coming up with different points that he should definitely make. but he himself is not sitting behind a stage podium and pretending that he's in the debate to practice. He said that he didn't do that before the entire primary season. He didn't do it before any of those debates. So he's not going to do it now. Now, what we need to hope, because we really need to hope that Donald Trump keeps cool and collected throughout these debates. He won the debates. Well, he didn't actually win any debate, I don't think, during the primary season. He said a few crazy remarks and people liked that, but he didn't overall win any of the debates. It was always people like Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz or all of these different people who have had experience in debates in the past. Donald Trump's only edge in this upcoming debate cycle is Hillary Clinton's scandals. That's the only way he's going to probably catch her, well, not really catch her off guard, but catch her in the act, have her have to answer about them in front of the American people. It's not going to be like when Bernie Sanders was debating her and he said that the American people are sick of this email scandal, because that's just not true. Donald Trump is going to have to hit her hard on all of these scandals that are revolving around her. And that's the only way that he's actually going to win these. That's the only way. Because Hillary Clinton, as bad as she is in debates, has way more experience in them. And if Donald Trump goes off the edge like he has in the past and says random crazy things, because a lot of the crazy sound bites that people have of Donald Trump come from the debates. Because in the heat of the moment, he just says stuff. In the heat of the moment, without a script, he just says stuff. And these things are often crazy and not logical. So hopefully, I mean, he hasn't said that. He said that he's not preparing really like that. That he's not working out different things to reply to different questions and all that. I think he really should. He really needs to prepare a lot more than he did for the primary season. Because these are the last chance for first impressions. The first debate, there's going to be thousands, maybe even a couple million people who haven't really been following the details that are going to watch this. And so this is his last chance to sway, these debates are his last chance to sway independents and even more Republicans over to his side. So we better hope that Donald Trump does not ruin his perfect chance, because this is a perfect chance, that he does not ruin this perfect chance to take out Hillary Clinton in her run for president. Alright guys, that's all for today's episode of The Wise Conservative Show. My name has been Connor Wise. I would like to thank you for tuning in. You can find The Wise Conservative Show on Facebook at Youth Revolt, youthrevolt.org. We're on Spreaker at Spreaker.com/The Wise Conservative, and Instagram at Instagram.com or Instagram at @the_wise_conservative. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, God bless.